Hello and welcome to Old Gold Tech,
Hello.
the show that reviews technology from yesteryear today. Today you join us at a very exciting point in our Old Gold Tech journey through the dusty realms of the attic. We are here today at a car boot sale. Now for you US people, this is where we take stuff, put it in our car, drive to a rural field and sell it for as cheap as possible.
Yes, indeed. So the challenge today that we have set ourselves is to take 10 English pounds.
Bulgarian pounds?
No, English pounds. And what we're going to do is we're going to go out to the field behind us, search out some wonderful golden technology, buy it, take it home, and see if we can get it working for you.
Yes, what we're going to do here is prove that Old Gold Tech is still out there and you can find it. Let's go and have a look at the car boot sale.
Come and join us.
This is a ZX81, and this is a predecessor to the Sinclair Spectrum that we viewed on show number 1. So, we're going to ask this nice gentleman here to buy it. Let's buy this thing.
Hopefully it won't be more than £10.
No, exactly. Well, hopefully not. How much is this, sir?
Oh,
£3.
I've heard about this haggling.
Right, okay.
£4? Yes! Bargain.
No.
Do it, just do it.
There you go, that's £4, mate.
Stick
Thank
with
you
me
very
now,
much.
it'll be quids in.
Thank you very much. A steal!
This, so it removes hair from face, from arms, and from. Oh no, can't say that. This is. Well, maybe I should.
No,
buy it.
come on,
No, what do you
come
want me
on,
to do?
put it down. You don't need it. You don't need it. You've got to get over this. You've got to get over. You don't need to be bald anymore.
But I wanted the.
No. Old Gold Tech fans, I found something that's very interesting. I found a Nintendo 64, which was one of the landmark consoles, which came out after the Super Nintendo, which was then followed by this beast, the GameCube. So I'm going to ask the car boot vendor now how much this thing is actually worth. Excuse me?
Yeah.
How much for this masterpiece?
£80.
£2.
80.
£2.
80.
Go on, do it for two.
No, 80.
150.
No.
10p.
No, this is vintage retro.
What do you mean vintage retro?
This is a new
I know
market.
about this sort of stuff.
This is going to be worth loads.
No.
Investment of the future.
80p.
No.
No?
No, you got to be joking.
Well. Right, what we have here, Old Gold Tech fans, is a classic Sony mini disc Walkman. Remember this on show 3? We talked about these. Sort of didn't live too long in technology, to be honest with you. They disappeared quite fast. I quite liked them, but they've disappeared. What we're going to do now is ask this lovely lady how much she wants for this piece of Old Gold Tech. So, what about this?
£10.
£10? I believe that will take us over to £13. Now Neil's behind the camera and he's saying no. We had to save for this show 20p.
No, £10, it's an antique.
It's an antique.
Well, it will be an antique.
£5.
No, £10. Oi!
Okay, Old Gold Tech fans.
Here we are.
So, I think you'll find that we've actually got a lot of treasure here, like pirates of the field in Britain. But what we've done here is how much have we spent?
Well, let's have a recap. So we spent £4
Yes,
on the ZX81.
which is
An astonishing find. Unbelievable. You retro guys will go crazy and crazy and crazy. And what did you spend?
well, I had to go back after I ran away with the mini disc and give £4 for that.
So that means we have £2 English pounds left to go and spend on something else.
Well, we could go and get porcelain dogs or some sort of OGT mascot. Well, I think there's only one thing that we should get.
Absolutely.
That, I think you'll agree, was a tasty ice cream.
A little bit of flake in mine was lovely.
Yes. Sounds wrong every time.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, at the car boot we got some bounty, some treasure, some loot.
We did.
We've got two things for you today that we that we managed to get from the car boot sale. One of them's more exciting than the other, extremely exciting to be honest, because we never expected this idea to really sort of work.
Well, we didn't know what we were going into, but before we get into our little bits of kit, I'd like to say a couple of thank yous. First of all, thank you to the people at the car boot. They were very hospitable. They wondered what we were doing with the camera.
They put it with us.
And so did we at one point. We were filming all kinds of stuff and people were following us around going, "Are you from the TV?"
We said yeah.
We said yeah, and we lied, of course. And we said we were really famous, but we're not, of course. So big thank you to those. And we're also filming this in a slightly different way. There's two reasons why we're here. One, we're building a multi-million lira pound station, and a new studio is going to be built. So we're in the back room at the moment, that's why we're here. And a big thank you as well to Rob for lending us his 7D, which we're filming some of this on. So hopefully you'll see a bit of a quality difference
Full HD.
later on. So what do we get and why we're here?
Well, first of all, let's explain the studio setup a little bit more.
Okay.
We have to use a hand mic as the device we've bought, and we're going to talk about later, is of alien origin and is interfering with all our equipment.
It can't cope with new technology, so it's just
No.
like nasty noise. So that's why we're here, and that's why we have the microphone.
So first of all, we have the Sony Minidisc,
Yes.
which we tried to steal from the nice lady at the car boot, but she stopped me by throwing me a porcelain dog at my head.
Yes, and he tripped up, and as you probably saw. So you did pay for it, and how much did you pay?
I did pay for it. I think I paid £4 for this.
Yes.
If this is factually incorrect, I'm sure
Ripped
someone
off.
out there will say, no,
Ripped
you have to pay £3, but I'm sure it was £4.
I think it was 4.
Massively ripped off, but we bought it for you,
Yes.
to explain to you at home. Anyway,
You. Just the one person who's watching
just
this.
you,
isn't it?
yes.
Yeah. Hello, Mum.
Anyway, 1980s, cassettes were dominant. I had the London Boys on cassette, I had Michael Jackson's Bad on cassette,
Kajagoogoo.
I had the Travelling Wilburys on cassette, I had the Best of Police on cassette, and I used to listen to my Walkman while playing on my Roadman, and I used to sort of do soundtracks to my car chases and stuff like that.
Well, I think whatever cassettes were used for, that was it, right?
That's what you did.
Good reviews.
That's
Yes.
why I do what I do. So, after that, CDs started to take over cassettes and started to muscle in on the market. And Sony thought, hold on, we've got to think of something new here. And they did. And they started to think of this new idea in 1986.
Well, that's a long time ago. So it was around the same time as CDs were coming out.
It does seem a bit early, doesn't it, to be
A little
honest
bit
with you?
early.
But it just shows how long these things are in development for, to be honest with you.
Crazy.
So, 1986, they started to think about the minidisc. 1992, they actually brought it out.
So that was launched, general availability to everybody in
Yep.
1992. Amazing.
Now, it did better in Japan than it unfortunately did in the US, because in Japan, people have more disposable income.
So there's more money to spend.
More money, more problems. Or more money, yeah.
No problems.
But basically what happened there was in the US, it only sold 50,000 units, which is nothing.
Considering the size of the US, that's nothing.
That's nothing.
No, rubbish.
Anyway, unfortunately, it lost out to the CDR, which later came on, and then the MP3 player. It did have sort of 3 big marketing campaigns. I don't know if you can remember the band Reefer in there.
Yeah, UK band.
Yep, UK band, and the advert was quite stylish and slick, and I think they threw the mini disc out the window at the end because they were sort of having a meeting with like a record boss.
And that was it.
That was it.
That's where it all started.
Yep.
Okay.
I think, to be honest with you, it's a shame that this didn't really last, because I actually had one of these and I really enjoyed the whole prospect of, I'll make a mini disc, I'll do this.
But it's a
I'll
great
do this.
form factor as well. Really smaller than
Yeah.
cassettes, more durable because
And
cassettes would just break. And
The thing is,
stretch
it's got
and
like a
everything.
really cool mechanism about it, and that's what I liked about it. Like iPods haven't got any of that because they're all finished and sealed,
Yes.
which is nice. But this has got like a real sense of mechanics about it. But unfortunately, it died a death and it's gone away. But there are some fanatics still that use these, and I've found a lot of websites while researching the minidisc that are still big fans of the minidisc.
So when we said in show 3, we discussed that how many commercial artists were bringing out music on mini discs, and there weren't that many, not compared to CDs. So it's
No.
a short-lived thing, though. So the mini disc was around for just
Yeah.
a few years, really.
Well, from what I understand,
92 to I don't know.
No, it wasn't there long, because then iPod came out in 2001.
That's right,
So
yeah,
before that was CDRs, then the MP3 players started to hit the market and stuff. But what Sony did is they basically released the technology to other manufacturers.
Right, licensed it. Yeah.
Licensed it
Okay.
out, because what they did with the Betamax video cassette was they kept it in. They went,
Oh, it's ours. We want to keep this for ourselves.
The one that lost out to VHS.
yes.
Yes.
But obviously that was the wrong thing to do, and they lost out.
Right.
But what they did with this was they said to Sharp and other manufacturers and Samsung and all those sorts of things, they said, right, you can have the we will license you the technology and you can flood the market. And they did, because I had a Sharp one myself.
Yes.
But it still didn't work.
A bit like this.
Yep.
So that was the mini disc player. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll discuss the second piece of golden technology that we managed to get from our car boot special.
We're back from the break, and I had a snifty little Coca-Cola there. What did you have?
A cup of tea because I'm English.
A cup of tea because it's English. Cup of jar.
Sure. Yes.
Right. What did we get? What did we find that we were so excited about?
Well, I couldn't believe it, actually. It was the first thing that we came across. And people may think, oh, yeah, you staged this, you found it in a box. No, we were just walking along aimlessly, and we saw this little black box
We actually
in a
walked up
cardboard
about
box.
9
Check this out.
We actually walked up 9 rows of cars thinking,
We did.
this is rubbish, why did we plan this show? And then just poking out of a small orange crate,
Was a ZX81, which was the predecessor to the Sinclair Spectrum 16K. So, as the name suggests, it came out in 1981. And yes, I was around back then. I was only young, but I do remember it. And it's an amazing piece of technology. There was a computer that came out before it called the ZX80, made by Sinclair Computers. And what happened was they decided to bring this home computer out in 2 formats. One in kit format, so it's like a Meccano kit. It was
That's pretty
amazing.
cool, though.
It's brilliant. So you got this box and you got these bits, and you had to construct this home computer.
so how
all
many
by
got broke
yourself.
straight away?
A phenomenal amount, probably. They were, because they're quite flimsy. We'll show you a little bit later what it's like inside. So it came out, and the kit version was £49. Now think about this: 1981, £49. That's quite a bit of cash.
You could buy a house with that then.
You could up north,
Or a Morris Marina.
Marina or a Morris Ital.
Yep.
Yeah.
My dad had one of those. The exhaust came off over a bridge once.
Did it cost him £49 to replace it?
We didn't discuss it.
No, probably not. But quite expensive. Now, if you was to get a man in a van and deliver this thing for you pre-assembled, it would cost you £69. So that's still even more expensive. So 1981, 69 quid, you got a ZX81. So what could you do with it?
Could I online game?
No. There was no online. There was no Tinternet back then.
No,
the
it wasn't.
interweb was just a mere twinkle in somebody's eye.
But there was actually internet. Because it was developed a long time before that, wasn't it?
But not home internet.
No.
No.
Secret government internet.
Yes, broadband and all that was not available. So you could get this thing, get it home. You could do some programming with it. You could get a magazine and start reading all bits of code and typing it in, which you could do. But then again, you didn't have a lot to play with. It had 1K of memory as standard. And you could expand this to 16K by putting in a little memory block at the back. If you remember in the first show, the Sinclair ZX Spectrum had one of these memory expansion plugins as well as joysticks. Same philosophy here. You could get one of these and plug it into this much smaller expansion
I
slot.
loved peripherals.
Brilliant. Brilliant. But memory, so an expandable 16K of memory, which you couldn't really do a lot. Now let's take a look at some of these facts. This was monochrome, wasn't colour. It had a 23 by 38 line display, which was just terrible by resolution standards. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some cutaways later to some of the videos that are online and available on YouTube that you can actually see some of these games in action. Now, unfortunately, the find that we had from the car boot sale didn't come with any games that we could try out. So I'll show you a little bit of programming later, but it's pretty dreadful.
It came out with a lot of Commodore. It came with a lot of Commodore 64.
I know,
games.
which is a great find for us because we love the Commodore 64. Again, like the Spectrum, had to plug in a tape deck to get the old games working, and I don't think anything came out in ROM format where you could plug in the back. But I might be wrong, so please correct me, which you often do on the forums anyway. This was also released in the US.
Aha.
Under a different name called the TS1000, which I think is something
Oh,
like
now that does sound
yeah,
to
bit Terminator, right? Amazing. TS1000 came out and was licensed from Sinclair to Timex, and they brought out a lot of computers in the US. But the ZX81 came out as the TS1000, and I think the Spectrums were also sold in the
Were
US.
these purely home computers, or were businesses using these as well? Or?
No, I think they couldn't home computers because they couldn't really do a lot. Really, they weren't any supercomputers or anything like that. Had so much processing power, you couldn't really do a lot, right? Plus, this was an amazing thing. It also had a fast and slow mode
A fast and slow mo.
Remember the turbo mode you used to get on the PCs?
I can't imagine that having a turbo.
No, and I can't imagine anything running so fast or slow that you want to speed it up.
Wore it out.
A bit strange. So there's lots of sort of new technology built in here, and it had one of these membrane keyboards, which was just ridiculously difficult to do anything with. But I think a great find.
It's a bit of a cheeky keyboard, to be honest, because it says poke, peek, rub out.
Yes.
All the things are cheeky.
Yeah, it's a cheeky keyboard. It's a cheeky chappy keyboard. And it was actually designed to help programming as well. So you had like things like list and print and go-to and go-sub and all those things you could use. Really aimed at basic programming, which is what a lot of the magazines came out and produced for you. So you could sort of type in your own code and things like that. Z80 chip in this thing as well, which is what was pioneered by Sinclair, and also had a custom-made Ferranti chip. Do you remember Ferranti, the old electronics
I don't know what that is, but I like the name.
It's a custom name Ferranti. Sounds a bit like Ferrari, and that's probably why they had a fast and slow mode. So, the ZX81, to recap, a great find. Now, our little box that we purchased does actually work, but only half the keyboard works because the little membrane inside that connects it to the little board is broken.
Yeah,
so you can sort of print half your name and do things like that.
When we bought it, it cracked open like an egg.
Yes.
And inside was the board, which we can show you later on. And we were thinking this is never going to work because you think how many times because someone had clearly unscrewed it and fiddled with it.
Yeah, we're trying to play with it, but at least it did work, which is a great find. And we ended up paying, I think, £4 for this because of Nick's negotiation skills. Meant that we paid far more than the guy was actually willing to take for it. But there you go. So, the ZX81 and the Sony Minidisc Walkman. The great thing about car boots is you never know what you may find. And we had a blast looking around all the old technology. You'll have seen from the initial video that there was many other things, quite out of our price range as well. That lady wanted £80 for that game console?
Yeah,
outrageous.
Went before us and told her that she could get 80 quid for it, and we lost it because I wanted to play GoldenEye on it. And we couldn't get it.
Never mind. But anyway, car boot sales are sort of a gold mine for older technology, and we are going to be going out again later in the year or next year to find some more technology. So, thank you very much for watching. Where can these good people who are looking at this show find us?
www.rubout.poke
and list.
No, www.oldgoldtech.com.
So that's the website where you'll find us. You can also request to join our Facebook group. You can find us on Twitter at Old Gold Tech, and you'll see all the little things come up here at the
bottom. And a massive thank you to all our new friends on Twitter, like Social Gamer.
The guys from Russia, I can't pronounce, but yeah, you know guys who you are, and we'll give you a big shout out next time.
Give us loads of FFs.
Brilliant. So we'll see you again soon, and stay tuned for a special Halloween show coming up in the month of October. And we'll see you soon.